Just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. And I'm sorry when I've just gone through the motions. I'm sorry when I just sang another song. Take me back to where we started. I open up my heart to you. I'm caught up in your presence. I just wanna sit here at your feet. I'm caught up in this holy moment. I never wanna leave. Oh, I'm not here for blessings. Jesus, you don't owe me anything more than anything that you can do. I just want you. Oh, I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Oh, nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else. Nothing else. Nothing else will do. I just want you. I just want you. Oh, you're my heart's desire. All I want is you. Yeah. Oh, take me back, take me back, take me back to my first love. Take me back, take me back. Take me back to my first love. Take me back, take me back, take me back to my first love. Take me back, take me back, take me back to my first love. Take me back, take me back, take me back to my first love. Take me back, take me back, take me back to my first love. Take me back, take me back, take me back to my first love. Take me back, take me back, take me back to my first love. nothing else, nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you. Nothing else, nothing else, yeah. Nothing else will do. I just want you. Just me and you. I see you standing there with open arms, ready to receive me. Just me and you. Just the way I want it, just me and you. Nothing else, nothing else will do. I just want you, and nothing else, and nothing else, nothing else will do.
How's it going, everybody? It's Pastor Steven here at the Avon Park Seventh-day Adventist Church. I'm the youth pastor, and we're super excited that you've joined us this evening for Lifeline Vespers. This program is put on by some of our youth and young adults and some of their friends. We hope that you're blessed by this, and we'll see you back here next week. God bless.
Told you you're not good enough, when he told you you're not right, when he told you you're not strong enough to put up a good fight, when he told you you're not worthy, when he told you you're not loved, when he told you you're not beautiful, you'll never be enough. Fear, he is a liar. He'll take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he is a liar. He'll rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. When he told you you were troubled, you'll forever be alone. When he told you you should run away, you'll never find a home. When he told you you were dirty and you should be ashamed. When he told you you could be the one that grace can never change. Oh, fear, he's a liar. He'll take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he's a liar. He'll rob your rest, steal your happiness, cast your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fear. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fear. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Let your fire fall and cast out all my fears. Let your fire fall, your love is all I feel. Oh, fear, he's a liar. He'll take your breath, stop you in your steps. Fear, he is a liar. He'll rob your rest, steal your happiness, dust your fear in the fire. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. 'Cause fear, he is a liar. 'Cause fear, he is a liar.
Hey everybody, it's Pastor Steven. Hope that you are doing well and that you've had a great week and are excited for the weekend. Obviously, I know the weekend doesn't feel very different in some ways compared to the week, but I hope that you use this weekend to connect more deeply with your family, connect more with God, and I hope that this Lifeline Vessels that you're watching is a good kickstart for your weekend and kickstart for your connection with God, and opportunity for you to pause with those around you and just begin a process of growth and begin a process of connection that has been our goal over these last few weeks. Just a note on that, today's actually the last Vespers that we'll be doing built on the theme of pause. Next week, we're going to be transitioning into something else. Obviously, most of you may have heard in the news that a lot of states are beginning to open up, that they're beginning to begin a process of reopening. And with our group, we want to begin to, as we begin to transition out of a time of pause, we want to create an opportunity for you to say, oh, what can I do after this has happened, after my life has been on pause, after things have stopped and I've had to regroup? What can I do now to build and grow from this? So over these next few weeks, we're going to be doing a series called Progress and process. We're going to be looking at those two words, process and progress. What can we do to process the things that we have learned over these last few weeks, that we've learned over this month about ourselves, about God, about areas in which we need to grow? And progress is going to be, what can we do to build on these things? How can we utilize these things to come out as better versions of ourselves? Not just not just our quarantine selves. What can we do to become better versions of ourselves when we are back to normal, whatever normal looks like? So I invite you to stay tuned with us. We're excited for this next part of our series. We're excited for this season of growth that we've all been experiencing together. I just want to share a note about today's speaker. His name is Jose Briones. He is a podcaster, a YouTuber, a pastor, and most importantly, he's one of my good friends. And I'm excited for him to share with us as we wrap up this series on pause. He's gonna be wrapping this up with just a way and an exercise for how we can pause better. Obviously, I know that it's maybe been kind of easy in this season to pause, but as we begin to transition out, what can we do to continue to maintain that spirit of eliminating our hurry, eliminating our busyness, and focusing in and honing in on our relationship and hearing the voice of God? So I'm excited for him to share. I just want to give a couple quick updates just about what we've been doing. We kicked off our young adult Bible study called Lifeline Cafe. I invite you to join us on Zoom this upcoming week. Our first week was amazing. It was awesome. We got to dive into the Sermon on the Mount and just study what the implications are for our lives and how we can live out our lives as followers of Christ, and how we can truly live out the message that he brought, which was a message of love and a message of non-judgment, and non-judgment in the way that he understood where people were coming at, and then he told them, hey, this is where I'm trying to go, walk with me. And so we are excited to continue that series and continue that conversation. So we invite you to join us. That's Wednesdays at 7 p.m. on Zoom. I will post the link on Instagram. I'll post the link on the church website. And we want you to join us and invite your friends, and we'll see you there. And lastly, just to note for all the youth out there, obviously we communicate on Instagram in different ways, but I want to share with you again that Monday nights we have our game night at 7, so join us on Zoom. And Thursdays we just restarted The Well, one of our things that we used to do back when we were in normal life. So The Well is an opportunity for us to just worship and then dive into have a conversation about something that is difficult, or maybe something we don't know, and an opportunity to ask questions. So it's called The Well, or The Well of Knowledge, and we're excited to just dive in and continue our conversation on the second coming. And we had a great talk yesterday about that, and so we are looking forward to building on it and growing in our walk with God. So once again this evening, I hope that you're blessed, and we hope to see you back next week. God bless. Take care.
Hi guys, so my name is Raymond Bennett. I am 23 years old. I'm currently a missionary in Ukraine teaching English at an Adventist-sponsored company. And my experience, in short, it started last February with my application to be a missionary. To this day, I still don't know why I chose Ukraine. It's some mix of interest and flexibility that I saw when I was looking through job descriptions, but I honestly don't really know. And then between that time and actually flying to Ukraine, there was a lot of the cliche or traditional waiting on God moments when it came to like submitting a application for my visa but sending in the wrong fee. And then this was all happening a week before Oshkosh, so having to get the money sent back and then send them another money order and hoping that was executed. And I actually got cleared for my visa while I was away at Oshkosh, and this is all happening 2 weeks before my flight's supposed to happen. And not even sure if I'll be able to get over here on time, but it ended up working out. And but to this day I still honestly I'm not 100% sure what my clear purpose is, but this has definitely been I do feel like I'm supposed to be here. Maybe my purpose is just generally being here, but yeah, I got here late August on the holiday actually, but people over here tend to work on holidays, go figure. But I got here and got integrated into the company. The first month went pretty well. Getting in touch with people at home. Everyone wants to know how you're doing and stuff. But after the first month, and it wasn't exactly honeymoon phase. It was just after getting into the flow of things and having to figure out, how to build a new life. I dealt with a little bit of disorientation with that, because I don't have the things that I'm used to having here. And for me, I'm a sports guy, so sports are usually part of my schedule, but I mean, I don't have cable TV here, for example, so I'm not really watching things. I still haven't watched a TV program to this day while I've been here. But I I didn't have TV. I don't have the general just things that I'm used to having, and I also don't have the time to really go after those things in the same way. So I really had to figure out, how can I recreate a schedule with the things I need and, execute this and then still progress to my overall life goals, even in this totally new place. So I didn't like sit down with a bunch of sticky notes or something. I just kept chipping away at what the problems were, and I kind of had to refill myself. After a situation, which in a nutshell was just miscommunication on the part of this girl where there was mutual interest. I had a personal reset. It wasn't really something I prayed for, but it did end up being something I needed. A week after this whole situation had happened, I woke up on a Sunday morning and I just felt new. Like, it was the weirdest thing. I just woke up feeling new, and I was like, what is this? And that week was at least the second or third best week of 2019 here. I mean, I didn't have any necessarily bad weeks, but emotionally, I hadn't really felt engaged, honestly, I think, until that point. Because I was still trying to process and gather everything. But I felt engaged. And yeah, it was just this God-given thing. And I've reset a couple of times. One time because I just felt like I had to reset. And then another time, I just had a reset. Like, it was kind of another God-given one, I guess. But I've been doing this daily countdown on my Snapchat, daily count on my Snapchat about, just how things are going and me being, on this new path, kind of. And it's been great, honestly. It's felt refreshing. It's felt inspiring, honestly. And it helps me to keep track of myself. And, people have kind of commented on different days here and there, and people have kind of applauded it, or like they have shown appreciation for it. So I guess it has some value, but my social media is for myself anyway, so it's not something where I need their support necessarily in order to keep doing it. But yeah, God's done that. I mean, about myself, I'm pretty in tune with myself because I am an only child. So I have spent many hours of my life by myself. And like, my mom was there and stuff, but I spent a lot of time in my own head. A lot of time just doing my own thing and having to learn myself and know how to take care of business. And because of that, I haven't had any massive revelations or self realizations over here. I have realized one thing that I realized, I guess, before I kind of reset, is that I was dealing with a pretty bad fear of being forgotten. Because since I'm an only child, and since I didn't really get to have extensive out of school and out of church relationships growing up, I didn't really know how being over here would affect my standing with people, There was a pretty big fear of being forgotten. And I think what I did to counter that was partially just believing that the friendships I had did have value, but also just buying into the people that are here, buying into the company and buying into my experience here. And I've made great friendships over here, some of them with the students that I teach. And I mean, I'm still young, I'm only 23, but I am old enough to be significantly older than most of them. So I'm kind of like a big brother position to a lot of them. But they are, I mean, they're thrilled to have an American. Being a foreigner is definitely a fun experience. If you ever get the chance to just be a foreigner, I'd say do that. But also, if you get the chance to be a missionary, definitely do that. I think it's great. I think it teaches you perspective. I think it helps you to understand what really matters. It helps you to get in touch with God, because you realize as a missionary that God just does things behind the scenes, and you kind of never know what you can expect with God. I mean, like, it'll always be something good that if he's the one that's giving it to you. But you know, with God, sometimes there are some surprises, and situations that you think are going terribly can just work out fine. So that's, I mean, that's just a few of the things that I think have been made clear to me in my time here. As far as waiting on God in this time, I think that, you know, you have to remember that God is still in control of things, and that even though we're in this unprecedented time that no one really has any preparation for, no one was expecting there to be a pandemic or anything like that, you have to now do your best, and you have to kind of do things the right way. I mean, I gave a whole sermon about this on Instagram, but you know, you can't let yourself be controlled by the news or the media or just your environment. You have to be the one to take control, and you know, you have to look to God for your support. And if there's anyone with you wherever you are, then you know, support each other. But yeah, you have to kind of take the reins here in this time, and pray and believe that things will come out better in the end if you just follow God and do what he would have you to do. So yeah, that's a bit of my experience here. There's a lot more, but I think that's all I have for now.
The weapon may be formed, but it won't prosper. When the darkness falls, it won't prevail. 'Cause the God I serve knows only how to triumph. My God will never fail. Oh, my God will never fail. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. There's power in the mighty name of Jesus. Every war he wages, he will win. And I'm not backing down from any giant, 'cause I know how this story ends. Yes, I know how this story ends. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. I'm gonna see a victory. I'm gonna see a victory. For the battle belongs to you, Lord. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good. You take what the enemy meant for evil, and you turn it for good. You turn it for good.
Good evening, everybody. It's good to be here. So I'd like to introduce myself. Many of you know me as Miss Kaler. My friends call me Vanessa. So my family calls me Ness. So there you have it. All right, so to answer some questions tonight, one of them is, what's been my greatest struggle during this time? And it's definitely not being home. I do not mind being home. I have a lot to do here, so that has not been a problem for me. I have not been bored at all. I cannot relate there. I have been actually very busy. So probably the biggest struggle for me has been keeping up with my students and schoolwork, getting everything done, just making sure that I'm getting my videos made so that they can do some of the schoolwork that I'm asking them to do and getting them posted. Keeping up with communicating with the parents and just checking how my kids are doing. I enjoy Zooming with them every day, but it's just that's probably been my biggest struggle. I told my mom, I said I'm busier now than I am during the school year when I'm actually at school with the kids. So I miss them. That is also a big struggle. I really do miss my kids. I miss their hugs. I miss the giggles. I miss the teasing. I miss the learning and the aha moments and all of that. So that I would say has been the biggest struggle for me. So what has been a blessing for me during this time? I would say the biggest blessing for me during this time is my time with Savannah, my daughter. Yes, we're busy working, but the nice thing about it is instead of her being in her classroom and me in mine, I get to sit by her and we get to sit side by side or at least in the same room doing our work. And when we're not working, we're trying to do a lot of those other things that probably the rest of you are doing at home. And I really treasure that time with her. So what has this time taught me about my relationship with God? Definitely that I need more time with God, that I need to have that relationship with Him. So during this time, something that I have started to do with Savannah is we've been going through the Gospels. We started in Matthew, and we're going to go through each one and compare them with each other to learn more about God, His character, who He was when He was here, and about His love for us. So in a crazy world that we're living in now, I think this is so important to have that time where we can build that relationship, have that friendship, so that we are truly ready for when Jesus comes again. All right, so how has this whole experience made me grow? I guess I would say it kind of goes along with my last question that just no matter what, to depend on God, that God's going to be there for us. He's going to take care of us. And, you know, even though everything else is falling apart, just to depend on Him and to be more like Him. Because in my studies, God was just amazing. He is amazing, not was. He is, but was, meaning from when He was here on earth with us. But just reading how He was and how He treated people just shows me that He was and is so full of love for us that I just can't wait to meet Him, because I think that we can't even begin to comprehend how much He loves us. And I just want to take a little bit of that love, and hopefully it's filling me up so much that it just can't help but pour out of me to the people around me, to my students, to my families and the parents that I interact with regularly, that they can see the love of God through me, because I'm trying to be more and more like Him. So what does it mean to wait on God to me? Oh goodness, this is a hard one. Being patient and waiting on God. I know we all have our things that we want in life, or that we wish for in life, or that we think we need in life. And sometimes waiting can be really hard. It's been hard for me at times, things that I've been waiting for, but it's come to that point in my life that I've been able to see how God has worked in my past, and He has definitely blessed me, and He's been there for me all along. So really what can I learn from that is the fact that God has my best interest, and He's taking care of me. And if that means that I have to wait longer, or that I might have to wait for forever, or that maybe what I'm wanting or needing doesn't come, it's still what God wants, and it's what's best for me. So, and I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. So, no matter what, while you're waiting on God, just don't give up. Continue to trust in Him and to believe in Him, and know that He is taking care of you.
Before I spoke a word, you were singing over me. You have been so, so good to me. Before I took a breath, you breathed your life in me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. When I was your foe, still your love fought for me. You have been so, so good to me. When I felt no worth, you paid it all for me. You have been so, so kind to me. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it chases me down, fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. And oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Yeah. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. There's no shadow you won't light up, mountain you won't climb up, coming after me. There's no wall you won't kick down, lie you won't tear down, coming after me. No, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God. Oh, it
fights till I'm found, leaves the 99. I couldn't earn it, I don't deserve it, still you give yourself away. Oh, the overwhelming, never-ending, reckless love of God.
Hey, thanks for watching this video. Today's message is going to be about the book of Mark. So I invite you to open your Bible and that you can actually follow up. I'll be showing it on the screen, but there's nothing like actually getting to know it about yourself, to see what the Bible says. So open your phone, open a tab, and open your Bible if you have it. I'll give you a couple seconds, maybe about 10 seconds, so you can grab it. And I know it's a temptation that you're going to want to skip certain parts, but the whole point of this video is so that we can pause and appreciate the different things. Not everything that I'm going to say is going to maybe reach you, but I hope that something that I say really resonates with you. And don't skip. It's a temptation that we have, and we just click, click, click until we hear something that really sounds good, but just stick it out and enjoy the ride. My name is Jose. I am a pastor in Georgia Cumberland Conference, and I'll be bringing the message to you again from the book of Mark. And we're going to be going into Mark chapter 6 from verses 30 and on. And I think this passage is going to teach us a lesson. It's something, maybe a story that you've heard before, but it's going to teach us something different. And I'm going to try to give it a spin when it comes to COVID-19. So thanks for watching. Let's get started. I don't know if you've noticed, but COVID-19 has radically shifted our mentality in the United States. It has created something different. It has created an attitude of waiting and being exasperated by that waiting. Let me illustrate what I say. See, society by default tries to rush us, especially when it comes to social media or media in general. We just want to watch. And if it's not what we expected, we just skip things. We're used to that. Just click the skip button until I find something that's relevant for me. Same thing happens in society. Same thing happens in your school. If you're in middle school, high school, or college, you may be thinking, I just want to finish to get to the next part of life. It's going to be so much better. Well, I have some news for you. When you transition from middle school to high school, if you're in high school, you can remember this. You're like, I miss certain things about middle school. Maybe not everything, but some things. I wish that I would have taken advantage of those things at that time. When you go from high school to college, same things. You are at college and you're like, I miss high school. I wish that I could take advantage of those little things. And when you go from college to something else, maybe a job, or you go to a master's degree like I did, you start missing college and your friends and the experiences. And you kind of wish that you took advantage of that time period again and again and again. But it is seldom that we take advantage of that time period now, and that we think of the pause, the moment of struggle, the moment of difficulty, as the moment that can actually make us grow and make us better people. But Jesus did that all the time. And I want to show you in the book of Mark, again, chapter 6. I hope you have your Bible with you. So let's go to the book of Mark, chapter 6. This is the story of Jesus feeding the 5,000. So it says right here, Mark chapter 6, verse 30. Now, before we start, I want to let you know of this word that happens throughout the book of Mark. The word is called immediately. This is Mark's favorite word throughout the book. He says immediately a lot of times. Immediately this happened. Immediately that happened. It reminds me of our society. We just want to get to work. We just want to get to school. We just want to get done and get with the next day. But seldom we take advantage of today. And that's what Mark does throughout the book. He just says, and immediately this happened, and immediately that happened. But let's check what happens with Jesus and his actions. It says in verse 30, then the apostles gathered to Jesus and told him all things, both what they had done and what they had taught. And he said to them, "Come aside by yourselves to a deserted place and rest a while." For there were many coming and going, and they did not even have time to eat. So they departed to a deserted place in the boat by themselves. First thing that we see is that Jesus, after doing miracles, after doing all of these marvelous things, after the disciples have gone out and preached the word, they say, "Hey, let's take a retreat. Let's take a break." So Mark is showing us here, even this book that is marked by immediately, is showing us that Jesus likes to take breaks, likes to pause and ponder upon what just happened. We don't do that. We just go, go, go. And maybe one day we pause, once a year. But what if we had time to pause every day? Think about that as we continue with the story. It says in verse 33, "But the multitude saw them departing, and many knew him and ran there on foot from all the cities. They arrived before them and came together to him. And Jesus, when he came out, saw a great multitude and was moved with compassion for them, because they were like sheep not having a shepherd. So he began to teach them many things. When the day was now far spent, his disciples came to him and said, 'There is a deserted place, and already the hour is late. Send them away, that they may go into the surrounding country and villages and buy themselves bread.'" I want you to notice what Jesus says in this next part before we get to it. The disciples have noticed that there's a lot of people, and they want to send them away. But Jesus asks the disciple to notice something else. He says in the following verse 37, "But he answered and said to them, 'You give them something to eat.' And they said to him, 'Shall we go and buy 200 denarii worth of bread and give them something to eat?' But he said to them, 'How many loaves do you have? Go and see.' And when they found out, they said, 5 and 2 fish. Then he commanded them to make them all sit down in groups on the green grass. So they sat down in ranks, in hundreds and in 50s. And when he had taken the 5 loaves and the 2 fish, he looked up to heaven, blessed and broke the loaves, and gave them to the disciples to set before them. And the 2 fish he divided them among all. So they all ate and were filled. And they took up 12 baskets full of fragments and of fish." We're going to get to another part of this passage. But I want you to notice that Jesus is talking with the disciples and telling them, "Do you notice what you have right now?" The disciples were so focused on people going away that they did not recognize the blessing that they had with them. See, Jesus is with them. The source of all power and might is with them. The person who can cure diseases and transform 5 loaves and 2 fishes into feeding more than 5,000 men. But the disciples are so obfuscated, they're so preoccupied with looking elsewhere, to going about their day, to focusing on the next task. It is the same thing with us. We're sometimes focused on our next task that we forget that Jesus is with us. And when Jesus is with us, when Jesus shows up into our lives, there's power there. But the question is, are we noticing? We usually don't. We usually just pass it over. We don't really think what God can do for us. And that's sad. Because right now in COVID-19, everybody has set their eyes upon when is it going to reopen? When are we going to go back to work? When are we going to actually experience our life as normal? When Jesus may be asking us, when are you going to notice what you have right now? When are you going to notice that right now you have the time to spend with me? So that when you go back out there, you don't go back with the worldly eyes that we usually have by default, but you go out there with the kingdom eyes that I want to give to you. See, Jesus is focused on the right here, right now. And we're usually focused on the next thing, on the future, on not taking the pause, on just focusing on the there and not focusing on the here. Let's continue with the story, the last part of the story. Let's see what happens right after. It says in Mark, favorite word, immediately he made his disciples get into the boat and go before him to the other side, to Bethsaida, while he sent the multitude away. And he had sent them away, he departed to the mountain to pray. Interesting. Jesus does an amazing wonder. He feeds all these people. And what's his first reaction? Hey, let me think about this. Let me go pray. Let me go connect with God. Think about all of your accomplishments. Think about all the things that are about to happen in your life. As we start reopening in this country, what is going to be the norm of your life? Are you just going to continue going? Or are you going to just enjoy the moment? Are you going to reflect on what happened today? Or are you just going to hope for a better tomorrow? Jesus wants us to reflect on today. Jesus wants us to reflect on the now. Live now, not later. One of the biggest mistakes that I see a lot of people make when it comes to Christianity is that we focus on something that is not how to improve our lives right now. We are usually focused on, well, one day I'm going to leave that bad habit. One day when God comes and heaven is restored, then I'm going to be happy. When Jesus says, experience me now, and you'll be happy and content right now. A lot of Christians are always looking for heaven. They're always looking for that day that all sorrow and all bad things are just going to go away. And yes, the Bible does say that. But the Bible also says that when we experience Jesus on the today, on the here and now, we can live better lives, categorically better lives. We can feed the poor. We can have good health. We can have better finances. It is here in the Bible. This book has a lot of wisdom, but we don't really study it. We don't really take time to just look at the word and experience it by ourselves. At least it is seldom. And American society does not help. You're going to be asked to continue going. When Jesus asks you to just stop, take a pause, and enjoy his presence today. I hope this video helps you. I hope that you start meditating upon that reality. Stop focusing on the future. Focus on the now. Stop focusing on tomorrow. Focus on today. Because when you can experience today with Jesus, tomorrow will take care of itself. When you experience today with Jesus, today will take care of itself. Make sure to take time to reflect, to read your word, to pray, and to know that Jesus is experienced now. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.